Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chasing a Murder and happy weekend. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different from what I usually do. And we're going to talk about some of the things that they are finding, some of it alleged information, some of it is leaking. And this is attached to that horrible case of the 4 Idaho students who were slain. And the suspect, Bryan Christopher Kohberger, 28. He was arrested December 30th, right before the new year, by the SWAT at 3 a.m. And he took the lives of 4 innocent, beautiful children. I call them children, young adults who've had their whole lives ahead of them. A lot of people are trying to figure out why he targeted these 4. Is there a connection between them? And I think they're going to be a little bit disappointed to find out some of this information in the future. Remember, there's a lot of people out there hunting other people. Many times it's going to be based off of their personal reason, sometimes even their personal desires. Now, just the other day, Bryan Kohberger showed up in court for the second time since his arrest anyway. He sped quickly into the courtroom, seated himself as he sat there without any type of emotion for his status hearing. And they waived the preliminary hearing. Some people say it's so that they can get more time to go through all the evidence. Some say it's just a stall tactic. But prosecutors can seek grand jury indictment, which could cancel out his attempt to stall. And right now he is scheduled for June 26th for that preliminary hearing. Right now it's scheduled for 9 a.m. and they expect it to run about 4 or 5 days. Still being held without bail at least until the next hearing. Kohberger actually became the number 1 suspect around December 23rd, weeks after the murders took place. And I want to mention that there's going to be a 2-hour Dateline special coming up where they interview one of his old schoolmates. But I've already looked at her and she doesn't seem to have a whole lot of information, but maybe we'll be surprised. So again, that Dateline, it was actually aired yesterday, 9/8 Central. So let's share some interesting tidbits. So we are finding out that Bryan Kohberger's sister played in a low-budget horror film 2 days back. It's where these students wander into the woods only to be slashed to death. That's according to Inside Edition. They also interviewed a few friends that describe who Bryan was in his younger years. And one of the fellow students says, he really wasn't a violent person. But it was after he started losing weight and he started boxing that his demeanor changes.
It was after that weight loss that a lot of people noticed a huge switch in him.
Another friend describes Bryan as not being outgoing, but he also isn't shy. And while talking to friends and other people, we are learning that he inspired to be an Army Ranger. So we've learned that Bryan was overweight, he was funny, he wasn't shy, but he was never seen with many girls. He didn't have any girlfriends. And then after his boxing endeavor, he started picking fights, become a bully. But I'm not really certain how true that is. So here's some information they're claiming leaked from the police themselves. Remember, there's a gag order in state. So we need to take this one with a grain of salt. Nothing should be leaking right now. But we're learning that he might have DM'd or messaged one of the 4 students that were slain. And we're told that he didn't get a response from whoever he was messaging and that he had messaged this person several times. So again, take that one with a grain of salt. But the other thing that I found that was quite interesting, that someone believed that they found a forum that he was writing on under this name. He was a teenager. The forum topic is visual snow syndrome. Allegedly, this happened between the years, November 6, 2009 through February of 2012. I read over it and it seemed like, there's a possibility considering the vocab that he's using, which is a lot of psych words, We know that his parents are in the psyche background. He describes himself as depersonalized, depressed, among several other self-diagnoses. So let me go over that with you. Around January 11th, he allegedly wrote, "I've had VS, visual snow, since September 21st of 2009. Since then, I have changed, mainly from anxiety and sense of derealization and hopelessness." This would put him at around the age of 17. So in this article, it says that April 2011, in a thread by another user about possible benefits of visual snow syndrome, Kohberger wrote, "I have become very deep and determined on goals. It made me smarter." So here's where things kind of become concerning. May 2011, he writes, "Depression, no interest in activity, constant thoughts of suicide, crazy thoughts, delusions of grandeur, anxiety, poor self-image, poor social skills, and all caps, no emotion." So that's a lot going on for a 17-year-old. At one point, he's talking about, "I have goals." And we know that he's capable of reaching goals and making goals. If this were him, well, he's saying he's dealing with anxiety, poor self-image, poor social skills, and most of all, no emotions. And for him, he's understanding that this isn't normal, and he's thinking about it. It's a concern for him. Then he says, "When I get home, I am mean to my family. This started when the BS did." So you have to wonder, is this a medical state along with a psych state that he's starting to have these issues? It begins around the same time as the visual snow. That's where one sees static constantly in most cases. Then he said, "I felt no emotion along with depersonalization." And he says, "I can do whatever I want with little remorse." So he's understanding that he has no emotions. He could care less what his parents see him as or how he treats his parents. And after treating them poorly, well, he has no remorse for it. We've all been teenagers and we've all done something to our parents, and then we've probably had guilt for that. But if this is Bryan's post, well, he doesn't seem to have any remorse. He recognizes that, but he doesn't say what that means, how he feels about that. It seems that there's a chance that this could be an opportunity for him. But in this post, it gives you a hint that this has been going on 2 years prior to 2011. He said he realized this all started, guessing around 2009. He wrote, "I have this horrible depersonalization going on in my life for almost 2 years. I often find myself making simple human interactions, but it is as I am playing a role-playing game." So let's pause there. That's very, very important to understand why Bryan, if this is him, was capable of carrying out these plans if he's responsible for that. He doesn't feel like he's in control of his own life or that he's even existing in life. He's looking through the eyes of something that doesn't seem real. His body is like a vehicle. He continued with, "As I hug my family, I look into their faces and I see nothing. It's like I'm looking at a video game, but less." So what would that mean? It's like looking at a video game, but less. Pause the video right here. Share your thoughts on this. Then he says, "I'm blank. I have no opinion. I have no emotion. I have nothing." And that is some serious, serious concerns that he has and he's experiencing. When he refers to "I have nothing," it basically just reinstates he's there, but he's not there. So there's something going on with him. that somehow he was able to get past his friends, his parents, of all things, his sister, and lead people to believe that he's just fine. Yet, according to him, he's really not in control at all. He's not there. So, according to this article, his last post was on February 20th of 2012. He said, "I have accepted my visual snow finally. I don't even feel the need to stay away from the forum. It doesn't scare me anymore. I feel like coming terms could be a bad thing though." So he's actually coming to terms that his future could be bad, but he doesn't go into details as to why he believes this. And let me tell you, so there's mention that he was living in a house with mold problems. And guys, mold can do some things to people. Now, ABC says there's a person that knew Kohberger at the time that these posts were posted, and he had actually seen the post and said that he was extremely confident that these were complaints cited by Kohberger dealing with the issues visual snow syndrome and the reference of post to living in a house with mold. A lot of guys are wondering, did he ever have a girlfriend? Well, there's one girl that's coming forward. It says she dated him on Tinder, but I don't know. I'll try to go over that later. You know what's also interesting is they're trying to compare people with mental illnesses, which vary dramatically person to person, even diagnosed with the same illness. Just like alcohol can affect people differently, and their reactions and actions to alcohol are different. But anyway, my point is they're trying to say that mental illness, which I don't totally agree with, and I don't know how you feel about it. And of course, you're free to think how you do. They try to say that mental illness doesn't create violence, that there are plenty of people with mental illness who do not resort to violence. I have to disagree. Emotions and the chemicals in your body have total control of who you are, how successful you are in life, how social you are in life, along with your mental state. And I think that's the problem with this nation is they are not taking mental illness seriously. In all those years of study, we've gone backwards. We don't understand mental illness whatsoever anymore. Because one of the main factors is everybody is different, how they're affected by this illness. And sometimes there's not a medical rule on how that person acts. And don't mistake my addressing mental illness in this way as taking up for someone that does such a heinous crime. Just saying there's a lot of mental illness out there and it's a different time. They have a different environment, and so it's affecting them differently. So, according to several reporters, they're finding out that there's a possibility that he honed in on one of these victims. But now they think it's possibly three of them, the three females that he reached out to. And let's talk about his sheath and how that they had found that either beside or under one of his victims. Do you think this was a mistake? Or do you think this was planted? Something tells me there's a chance that a guy like this, if he is actually guilty of this heinous crime, might have planted this looking for a certain name to be attached to him. So there's many people today who find this type of crime very exciting. As I've mentioned before and warned our ladies, to warn our loved ones that are also female, even males, you're being hunted these days. There are people out there that see other human beings as game. Could this be what happened in this case to one or more of these victims? So we're learning that they are sharing some of the things that they collected from his apartment in his parents' house. but still we're lacking a lot of, more information on these items. So they seized 15 items, including hairs, receipts, computer tower, um, something with certain stains to it, a disposable glove. And since then, there has been so much out there speculating on this case, so it's hard to find what's truth anymore. So what they're sharing with us is the search warrant record lists these items. And so it shares some of the few details that they're giving us. So where the stains were recovered was a mattress cover where they found a reddish brown stain. They also found an uncovered pillow, and there they collected a dark red spot. So they're suspecting that they found blood there. Hopefully this will give them some answers, but who knows? Regardless, their hope is to get some sort of DNA off of that stain. And perhaps that stain might have come from the crime scene. They mentioned the receipts, which are from Marshall's, Walmart, and they're saying that a tag of clothing brand of Dickies. So if he bought something, to commit this crime, something to throw away, perhaps they'll know more what they're looking for. And also, if they find it, they can use that to compare with whatever evidence they have. Even timestamps of receipts can help tremendously on putting together this puzzle. Now, remember, at the crime scene, the 4 victims, there was a pet there, a dog. And we're finding out that they found some strands of possibly what they're labeling pet hair. So they'll test to make sure that that is animal hair, and then try to link it to the pet, which was not harmed in the crime, or not. They can even do microscopic comparison of skin, dander, whatever, to help determine if he might have been inside that home. If you've seen other crime shows, which I don't watch very much, but I've seen one that I thought was interesting, where they were able to link the crime off a piece of fiber that come out of a vehicle. That's pretty much all they had. And we know that they're going to be using, going through a lot of the computers, his social media. We heard about the Fire Stick to study his social behavior, find any type of points of interest or points that might connect him to one of those students. Reporter Angela Blanco actually wrote an excellent story on the items that they found. You can go check that out. So there's a mention that they found this certain type of glove meant for more advanced, let's say something like SWAT team. Angela wrote that this glove, it fits very, very tight on the hands. It's made specifically to do specific things. Have you ever tried to do something with gloves on? Well, you can't feel it. You can't really maneuver these gloves very well, most gloves that we wear. But these gloves are meant so that you can feel things and that you can manipulate things with your hands a lot better. So that sounds like it's going to be one of the main key pieces of evidence that they're going to focus on. It's pretty interesting. So I want to ask you guys politely, and you don't have to like and subscribe if you think I'm doing a good job. And if you do like these type of shows, well, you can hit the notification bell to get notifications. You can also donate and help us keep going at our Patreon at Chasing a Murderer. But most of all, you know what you can do? You can share these faces that I put on these videos of Dulce, Jasmine Robinson, Kiara Coles. Their story, well, it's stalled or cold. And we need to make sure that they are remembered every day. And maybe someday someone will see those pictures and help police. Sending out my love and my hugs to my family members, those who liked, subscribed, and shared. A lot of you like Marie, Doreen, Lainey, 2 Cents, Dolly, Justice Janie, Kavita, Rhonda, Blue, Carol, Georgie's mama, Mia, BC, Carol F, ABG, Seashat, Joanna K, Donna, Annie, Brenda, Kimmy, Kim, Laura, Zero, Walking Faith, Candy, and Ashley. And I'll add more as we upload more videos. All of you guys are just absolute best. I couldn't ask for a better family. Love you guys so much. Hugs, blessings. I'll see you guys soon.